Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Underrated Music Talk. Yours truly, the underrated one. Matter of fact, rewind again. Welcome to my channel, the Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the underrated one, the number one grinder, Chef JT. Not just chefing in the kitchen. I be chefing up information. Respect my existence. Respect Respect the underrated one existence. Respect the LDBC existence. That stands for Lions Den Boxing Community. That's the family I roll with. So, with y'all, go ahead, sit back and relax. So we're gonna I'm gonna do another the underrated music talk. That's gonna be 10 o'clock. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in. I'm gonna read about Little Richard. He passed away, I believe, yesterday or today. He is the architect. They say he's the architect of rock and roll. We always event things. We always start off things, but we don't get the credit in it. I'm gonna put my little answers on it, but I want to get some more people to come on in and everything. So glad you're showing up. Again, welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the underrated one. And this is underrated. This is the underrated music talk. Get some more people. Get that, okay. So we'll wait for some more people to come in. And after get the people in, we'll read about Little Richard. Most likely we're gonna have a little panel after I read the story. Like I said, we'll wait for some more people to come in. Glad everybody showed up. Yeah, fine. Little Richard passed away. Wow. The second one I'm gonna do 10 o'clock. That's gonna be a treat. I'm not, that's gonna be a treat. So looking for some people to come through on that one tonight. So I'm doing a double night. That also gonna be underrated music talk. That also is gonna be also I'm gonna have a panel on that. So I'm looking forward for that. This one I wanna have a panel on that and everything. Yeah, smash the like button. Thank you. Hey, how you doing? Back at the basics. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gonna wait for some more people to come in, so we can get this thing cracking. Okay, no problem. No problem. Wait for some more people to come in. We'll read about the late great Little Richard. He was I believe he was a record producer, musician, and an excellent songwriter. He was ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time. And we'll read about him, and then I know a little stuff about Little Richard too. We'll bring it on and talk about that too. And but we gotta pay homage to late great Little Richard. I'm telling us as a people, we some bad, we no joke. Tell you. But to just go show how people in this world, they always want to steal from us. Like I said, we're gonna talk about that maybe a little bit, but I want to pay homage to them. So Rob is fine. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna read a little Richard, man. Then like, oh yeah, and Rob, man, I got another one coming tonight. The underrated music talk tonight. That's gonna be another one who passed away. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but come back at 10 o'clock tonight. You'll find out. They're also gonna be. I'm looking for a panel to participation too. This one too. So I was y'all. I was y'all. You know how the underrated bring it. This some stuff, and both people have passed away. So stay tuned. Another one tonight, 10 o'clock. Don't miss that. Yeah, Little Richard, man. I'm trying to tell people. A lot of people analyze him, and you know he you know. So we're gonna wait for some more people to come through. Yeah, 10 o'clock tonight, baby. 10 o'clock. It's gonna be another one. Yeah, when you hear that but around the night, you think like you feel sad about Little Richard. This one too, 10 o'clock. Come back 10 o'clock, and also like I said, there's also gonna be panel participation tonight too. This one and 10 o'clock gonna be a panel participation tonight. Wait for some more people to come through. But I'm glad you came, Rod. Glad back at the base come. Waiting for some more people to come through. Welcome, my Periscope new family. Thanks for joining in. Come to the chat. YouTube family, thanks for coming. I'm gonna get a few more minutes. Then I'm gonna start reading about Little Richard. Hold on, fam. Hold on. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. If y'all can hear me, press 1. Sorry about that, family. The call just knocked that off and everything. So what we're gonna do? Press one if y'all can hear me. I'm gonna start reading because in 13 minutes. So oh, thank you. Appreciate. Please, thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that. We're gonna read about Little Richard. Um. So like I said, he was ahead of his time, y'all. Um. I got super chat and also I got Cash App. So if y'all want to donate, feel free. If not, hit the like button. No problem. I don't have no problem with it. Okay, cool. All right, all right. Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait. And also, Big Face Worldwide Boxing News. I will do another underrated music talk. That's gonna be 10 o'clock tonight. So I advise y'all. That's gonna be good too. It's gonna be two people passed away, but I'm not gonna surprise. I want you to come back. I want you to come back this one. All right. Welcome to my channel, the underrated darkness. Yours truly, the underrated one. Hold on, family. Richard. Here it goes. Little Richard Wayne Perman, December 5th, 1932. That's when he was born, and he passed away May 9th, 2020. That's this year. Better known as Little Richard, was an American singer, songwriter, and musician. He was an influential figure in popular music and culture for 7 decades. Yeah. Nicknamed the innovator, the originator, and the architect of rock and roll. That's what you're seeing in the title. Yes, he is. Perman most celebrated work dates from the mid 1950s when his charismatic showman and dynamic music, characterized by frenetic, frenzy, piano playing, pounding back beat, and rapid shouted voice, laid the foundation for rock and roll. Perman innovated intermodal vocalization and uptempo rhythm music, also play a key role in the formation of other popular music genres, including soul and funk, respectively. He influenced numerous singers and musicians across musician genres from rock and roll, from rock to hip hop. His music helped shape rhythm and blues for generations to come. Tutti Frutti was back in Tutti Frutti, 1955. That's one of my late parents' songs. Tutti Frutti, 1955, one of Perman's signature songs, became an instant hit, crossed over to the pop charts in both the United States and overseas. In the United Kingdom, Perman next single, Long Tall Sally, 1956, hit #1 on the Billboard Rhythm and Blues bestseller charts, followed by a rapid succession of 15 more hit singles in less than 3 years. Let me read that again. Followed by a rapid succession of 15 more hit singles less than 3 years. Now, I'm gonna stop right there. Understand why I'm saying this. It was very hard that a black man or black woman could write, play musician, and have hits back then. Because a lot of us had hits back then, but we wasn't know. They put us in the back room somewhere. But he had 15 within 3 years. Do you know that's hard? And in those times too, this is back like the going into like the second phase of civil rights. Now people say, what do you mean civil rights and everything? They had civil rights back in the 30s, now 30s and the 40s too. That I'm gonna do some music. I'm gonna do some music about that to hopefully one day I'm gonna bring that in. But this is big. Less than 3 years, he had 15 hit singles. Right? I want y'all to think. I want y'all to let it rest. Bad one. Bad boy right there, man. His performance during this period resulted in integration between white Americans and African Americans in his audience. In 1962, during a 5-year period of which Perman abandoned rock and roll for born-again Christianity, concert promoter Don Eden persuaded him to tour Europe. During this time, Eden had the Beatles open for Perman on some tour dates. Capitalized on his popularity, Richard advised the Beatles how to perform his songs and taught band member Paul McCartney his distinctive vocalizations. Perman is cited as one of the first crossover black artists reaching audience of all races. His music and concerts broke the color line, drawing blacks and whites together despite attempts to sustain segregation. His contemporaries included Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Bill Haley, Jerry Lee Lewis, the Everly Brothers, Gene Vincent, and Ed Coachman. The majority of them was white. Need to throw that in. All recording covers of his works taken by his music and style with personal covering for a Perman songs on his own 2 breakthrough albums in 1956. Presley told Perman in 1969 that his music was an inspiration for him and that he was the greatest. Now I know we said Muhammad Ali is the greatest, but right there, that was Presley in 69, called Little Richard, the greatest. Perman was honored of many institutions. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of the first group of the inductees. In 1986, he was also inducted into Songwriter Hall of Fame. He was a recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Rhythm and Blues Foundation. In 2015, Perman received a Rap Shot and Rhythm Award from the National Museum of African American Music for his key role formation of popular music genres and helped bring an end to racial divide on the music charts and concert in the mid-1950s. Changed African American culture, signified. Tutti Frutti was inducted to the National Recording Register of the Library of Congress in 2010, which stated that his unique vocaling over the accessible best announced a new era of music. Y'all can hear me, press 1. Richard Wayne Perman was born in Macon, Georgia on December 5, 1932, third of 12 children of Lever May named Stewart and Charles Bud Perman. His father was a church deacon and a brick mason. With sold bootlegged moonshine on the side and owned a nightclub called The Tip in Inn. His mother was a member of Macon New Hope Baptist Church. Additionally, his first name was supposed to be Ricardo, but an error resulted in Richard instead. The Perman children was raised in a neighborhood of Macon, Georgia called Pleasant Hill. His childhood, he was nicknamed Little Richard by his family because of his small and skinny frame. A mischievous child. Why did he scratch this out? I don't understand people. He was scratching things off. All right. A mischievous child who played pranks on neighbors, Perman began singing in church at a young age, possible as a result of complications at birth. He had a sight deformity that left one of his legs shorter than other. This produced a usual gait, as he was marked for allegedly eminent appearance. Perman family was very religious and joined various AME, Baptist, and Pentecostal churches, with some family members become ministers. He enjoyed the Pentecostal church the most because of their charismatic worship and live music. He later recalled that people in his neighborhood sang gospel songs throughout the day during segregation to keep a positive outlook because there was so much poverty and so much prejudice in those days. He had observed that people sang to feel their connection with God and to wash their trails and burdens away. Gifted with a loud singing voice, Herman recalled that he was always changing the key upwards and that they once stopped him for singing in church for screaming and howling so loud. Earned him the nickname Warhawk. That's crazy. As a child, he would beat on the steps of the house and on tin cans and pots and pans or whatever while singing while annoying the neighbors. Pyramid initially musical influence was gospel performers such as Brother Joe May, Sister Rosette, Stop. I read about her on the radio music talk. Mahalia Jackson, that's another one, and Marion Williams. May, a singer evangelist who known as the Thunderbot of the Middle West because of his phenomenal range and vocal power, inspiring Perman to become a preacher. Perman attended Macon Hudson High School, where he was a below average student. He originally learned to play alto. Here it is, family. He eventually learned to play alto saxophone, joining his school marching band while he was in 5th grade. While in high school, he got a part-time job at Macon City Auditorium for local secular and gospel concert promote Clint Brantley. He sold Coca-Cola to crowds doing concerts to stars performing of the day, such as Cab Calloway, Lucky Molinder as his favorites, and his favorite singer, Sister Rosa Thought. Beginning 1947 to 1945. In October 1947, Sister Rosa Thought overheard a 14-year-old Perman singing her songs before a performance at a Macon City Auditorium. She invited him to open her show. After the show, Thought paid him, inspiring him to become a professional performer. Perman states that he was inspired to play the piano after he heard Ike turn the piano on Rocket 88. In 1949, he began performing at Doctor's Nubilo traveling show. Perman was inspired to wear turbans and capes in his career by Nurbin, who is also carried a black stick and exhibit something he called the Devil's Child, the dried up body of a baby with clawed feet like a bird's horn in his head. Nobody told Perman he was going to be famous, but he would have to go where the grass is greener. Before I entered the 10th grade, Perman left family home to join Dr. Hudson Medicine show in 1949, performing Louis Jordan's Caledonia. Perman recalled that the song was first secular R&B he learned since his family had strict rules against playing R&B music, which they considered devil music. Perman also performed in drags during this time, performing under the name Princess Levon. Wow. In 1950, Perman joined the first musical band, Buster Brown, Orchestra, where Brown gave him the name Little Richard. Performing in a minstrel show circuit, Perman, in and out of drag, performed for various vaudevilles acts such as Sugarfoot Sam from Alabama, the Tidy Jolly Steppers, the King Brothers Circus, and Broadway Follies. Having settled in Atlanta, Georgia at this point, Perman began to listen to rhythm and blues in frequently Atlanta clubs, including the Harlem Theater and the Royal Peacock, where he saw performers such as Roy Brown and Billy Wright on stage. Perman was further influenced by Brown and Wright's flashy style of showman, and was even more influenced by Wright's flamboyant personal and showmanship, inspired by Brown and Wright. Perman decided to become a rhythm and blues singer after befriended Wright, began to learn how to be an entertainer for him, and began to adopt a popular hairdo similar to Wright, as well styling his pencil mustache, using Wright's band facial pancake makeup, and wearing flashy clothes. Impressed by his singing voice, Wright put contact with Zena Sears, a local DJ. Sears recorded Perman at his station back with Wright Band. The recordings led to a contract the year with RCA Victor. Perman recorded a total of 8 sides of RCA Victor, including the blues ballad "Every Hour," which became his first single and a hit in Georgia. The release "Every Hour" improved his relationship with his father, who began regularly playing the song on his nightclub jukebox. Shortly after the release of "Every Hour," Perman was hired in front Perry Welsh and his orchestra and played in clubs and Army base for $100 a week. After a year with RCA Victor, Perman left the label in February 1952 after his record there failed to become national hits. The same month, Perman's father, Bud, was killed after confrontation outside the club. Perman continued to perform during his time, and Clint Brantley agreed to manage Perman's career. Moving to Houston, he formed a band called the Tappers, performed as part of the Blues Package Tour in southern clubs such as Club Tijuana in New Orleans and Club Matinee in Houston. Perman signed with Don Roby Peacock Records in February 1953, recorded 8 sides, including 4 with Johnny Otis, and his band was unreleased at the time. Like his venture with RCA Victor, none of Perman Peacock's singles charted despite Perman's growing reputation for his high energy antic on stage. Perman began complaining monetary issues with Roby, result in a Perman get knocked out by Roby during a scuffle. Disillusioned by the record business, Perman returned to Macon in 1954 and struggled with poverty, settled for work as a dishwasher for Greyhound Lines. While in Macon, he met Esquire, who flamboyant on stage, personal and dynamic piano playing, would deeply influence Perman's approach to perform. That year, he disbanded the Temple Toppers and formed a harder driving rhythm and blues band, the Upsetters. Wow, the Upsetters. They were doing their thing back in the 60s. That's something to think about. Which included drummer Charles Connor and saxophone William Lee Diamond, and toured under Brantley's management. The band supported R&B singer Christy Kittle on some recordings that began on tour successfully even without a bass guitarist, forcing drummer Carter to dump real hard on his bass drums in order to get a bass fiddle effect. Around that time, Perman signed a contract to tour with fellow R&B singer Little Johnny Taylor. And Johnny Taylor went on to be great too. Had to add that too. Now, Johnny Taylor, now, if people, I'm going to stop here. Now, you remember this? I don't know if people remember. Back in 77, he made the song Disco Lady. That's Johnny Taylor. And Cheaper to Keeper, that also from Johnny Taylor. But we're going to talk a little bit. But later on, Johnny Taylor did his thing in the 60s and 70s. So I just want to throw that in. At that suggestion of Lloyd Price, Perman sent demo to Price label Specialty Records in February 1955. Months passed by before Perman got a call from the label. Finally, in September of that year, Specialty owner Art Rowe loaned Perman money to buy out his Peacock contract to set him to work with producer Robert Bumps Blackwell. Upon hearing Perman's demo, Blackwell felt Perman was specially answered to Ray Charles. However, Perman told him he preferred the sounds of Fat Domino. Blackwell sent him to New Orleans, where he recorded at Cosmo Matas J&M Studios. Recorded there with several Domino sessions musicians, including drummer Earl Palmer and saxophone Lee Allen. Additionally, Perman recorded that monthly failed to produce much inspiration or interest. Frustrated, Blackwell and Perman went to relax at the New Drop Inn nightclub. According to Blackwell, Perman then launched into a rich Creek Dirty Blues he titled Tutti Frutti. Blackwell said he felt the song had a hit potential and hired songwriter Dorothy Labostri to replace some of Perman's sexual lyrics with less controversial words. Recorded 3 takes of September 1955, Tutti Frutti was released as a single in November. Additional success and conversion. 1955-1962. Tutti Frutti became an instant hit, reached number 2 on the Billboard magazine Rhythm and Blues bestsellers charts, and crossed over to the pop charts in both the United States and overseas in the United Kingdom, and that's very rare for black singing and songwriter do. It's very hard those times. It reached 21 on the Billboard Top 100 in America and number 29 of the British single chart, eventually selling 1 million copies. Perman's next hit single, Long Tall Sally, 1956, hit number 1 on the R&B and number 13 on the Top 100, while reaching the top 10 in Britain. Like Tutti Frutti, it sold over 1 million copies. Following his success, Perman built up his backing band, the Upsetters, with the addition of saxophone Clifford Gene Burke and leader Grady Gaines, bassing. I've seen Basie Robinson and guitarist Nathaniel Buster Douglas. Perman began performing on the package tour across the United States. Rupp described the difference between Perman and a similar hit maker in the early rock and roll period that states while that the similarities of Little Richard and 5000 for recording purpose was close. Perman would sometimes stand up at the piano while he was recording on that stage, where Domino was plotting very slow. Perman was very dynamic, complete, uninhibited, unpredictable, wild. So the band took on the ambience of the vocals. Perman performed like most rock and roll shows, resulting in interrogating audience reaction during an era which public places were divided into white and colored domains. In these package tours, Perman and other artists such as Fat Domino and Chuck Berry would enable audience of both races to enter the building. About still segregated. That means blacks are on the balcony and whites on the main floor. As his band leader at the time, H.B. Burham, explained permanent performance enables audience to come together to dance, despite band band bandcasts on television from local supremacy groups such as North Alabama White Citizens Council warned that rock and roll bring the race together. Permanent popularity was helping to shatter the myth that black performers could not successfully perform at white-only venues, especially in the South where racism was not over. Permanent high antics included lifting his leg while playing the piano, climbing on the top of his piano, running on off the stage and throwing his souvenirs to the audience. Perman also began using capes and suits stuffed with multicolored precious stone and subplumes. Perman said he began to be more flamboyant on stage, so no one would think he was after a white girl. Wow. Perman claimed that a show at Baltimore Royal Theater in June 1956 led to women throwing their undergarments on stage at him, resulting in other female fans repeating the action, saying it was the first time that happened to any artist. Perman slowly was stopped several times that night, doing the fans was restrained from jumping on the balcony, then rushed to the stage to touch Perman. Overall, Perman would produce 7 singles in the United States alone in 1956, with 5 of them also charted in the UK, including Slip and Slide, Rip It Up, Ready Teddy, The Girl Can't Help It, and Lucy. Immediately after the release of Tutti Frutti, which was the protocol for the industry, safety, white recorders artists such as Pat Boone re-recorded songs, sending the song to the top 20 of the charts, several positions higher than Perman. His fellow rock and roll peers Elvis Presley and Bill Haley also recorded Perman songs later that same year. Befriended Alan Freed, the disc jockey eventually put him in the rock and roll movie such as Don't Knock the Rock and Mr. Rock and Roll. In 1957, Perman was given a hard singing role in the film The Girl Can't Help It. That year, he scored more hit successful with songs like Jenny Jenny, Keep It Knockin'. The latter become of his first top 10 single on the Billboard Top 100. By the time he left, especially in 1959, Perman had scored a total of 9 top 40 pop hits. Let me read it again. In 1959, Perman had scored a total of 9 top 40 pop hits and 17 top 40 R&B singles. That is hard, but he did it. Perman performed as a famed 12th Cabaret of Jazz held at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, which was produced by Leon Heflin Sr. On September 2nd, 1956, he also performed that day were Diana Washington. She is a jazz and R&B singer of those times. Very underrated. Let's go ahead. The Mel Williams Dot, Julie Stevens, Chuck Hagee, Orchestra, Bo Rainbow, Really Hating, and the Fat Five Birds, the premieres Gerald Wilson and his 20-piece recorded orchestra, and Jerry Gray and his orchestra. Shortly after the release of Tutti Frutti, Perman relocated to Los Angeles, serving as a record artist and performed as live performer. Perman moved into a wealthy, formed, predominantly white neighborhood, living close to black celebrities such as boxer Joe Louis. Perman's first album, Here, Little Richard, was released on Specialty in May 1957 and peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Top LP charts. Similar to most albums released during that era, the album featured 6 release singles, filler tracks. In early 1958, Specialty released his second album, Little Richard, which didn't chart. In October 1957, Perman embarked on a package tour in Australia with Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran. During the middle of the tour, he shook the public by announcing he was following a life in the ministry. Perman would claim his autobiography that during a flight from Melbourne to Sydney, them 2 cities in Australia, that his plane was experiencing some difficulty, that he claimed to have seen the plane red dots engine and felt angels was holding it up. At the end of Sydney performance, Perman saw a bright red fireball flying across the sky above him and claimed he was deeply shaken. Though it was eventually told to him that it was a launching of the first artificial Earth satellite, Sputnik. Perman claimed he took it as a sign from God to repent from performing secular music and his wild lifestyle at the time. Returning to the States 10 days earlier, expect Perman renewed of his original flight has crashed in the Pacific Ocean as a further sign do as God wanted. At the farewell performance at the Apollo Theater and his final recording section, was especially later that month, Perman enrolled at Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama to study theology. Despite his claims of spiritual rebirth, Perman admitted his reasons for leaving were more monetary. During his tenure, especially, despite earning millions for the label, Perman complained that he did not know the label had cut the percentage of royalties that was to earn for his recordings. Especially continued to release Perman recordings, including Good Golly, Miss Molly. I know you heard Good Golly, Miss Molly. That's what I'm saying. Type in fair use on that, please. Type in fair use right now. I'm going to do that. And his unique version of Kansas City until 1950. Finally ended his contract with the label. Perman agreed to relinquish as royal to his material. Hold on, family. You get that. All right, in 1958, Perman formed Little Richard Evangelist Team, traveled across the country to preach. A month after his conversation, Perman met Ernestine Having, a secretary for Washington, D.C., and the couple married July 11, 1959. Perman ventured into gospel music, first recording to N Records, before signing with Mercury Records. In 1961, where he eventually released King of Gospel Singers in 1962. Produced by Quincy Jones. Right, hey, Quincy Jones. That's the one who did the dude. Also, Quincy Jones. Also, I'm let you know, Quincy Jones also did There was this old show named Ironside back in the mid '60s. He did a soundtrack. He did a soundtrack and a song for Ironside. Need to throw that in, the great Quincy Jones. Also, he did a song in the early '70s, Sanford and Son 2. Need to put that in too. Also, he did a soundtrack of The Wizard of Oz with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. That's back in '78. Need to throw that in. He also wrote for the late great Ray Charles. Also, Ray Charles wrote things for him too. Need to throw that in. Let's go. Who later remarked that permanent vocals impressed him more than any other vocals he had worked with. His childhood hero, Mahalia Jackson, wrote the line note of the album Perman saying gospel the way it should be sung. While Perman was no longer charted in the U.S., some of his gospel songs, such as He Not Just a Soldier and He Got What He Want, reached pop charts in the U.S. and U.K. Wow. So we'll stop right here. Then he was one of the first ones of his pops. I mean, he had hits of R&B, pop, and even in gospel. And that's very unheard of at this time in the 60s, yo. Very unheard of. Let's go. Return to secular music, 1962 to 1969. In 1962, concert promoter Bill Arden persuaded Little Richard to tour Europe after telling him to record were still selling well there. With fellow rock singer Sam Cooke and open act Perman, who featured a teenager, Billy Preston. Now they said, who Billy Preston? That's the one working circles, outer space. Also, he did a soundtrack named Slaughter. There's a black films back in the '70s. He did a soundtrack, Slaughter, going around in circles. Yeah, that's Billy Preston, the young Billy Preston. You throw that in too. For his gospel band, Figure It Out was a gospel tour, and after Cooke delayed arrived, focused him to cancel his show at the opening date, performing only gospel material during the show, leading to boos from an audience expect Perman to sing his rock and roll hit. The following night, Perman viewed Cooke well-received performance bring back competitive drives. Perman and Preston warm up in darkness before launching into Long Tail Silent, result in frantic hysterical response from the audience. A slow of Mansfield, Canada theater ended early after fans rushed the stage. Hearing at Perman shows, Brian Epstein, manager of the Beatles, asked Darren to elbow his band open the Perman of some tour dates, to which he gained. The first show which the Beatles had opened was at New Brighton Town Ballroom that October. The following month, they, along with Swedish singer Jerry Williams and his band Violence, opened at Perman at the Stat Club in Hamburg. During this time, Perman advised the group how to perform his songs, taught Paul McCartney and his distinctive vocalizations. Back in the United States, Perman recorded six rock and roll songs with the Upsetters for Little Star Records under the name World Famous Upsetters, hoping that would keep his option open and maintain his position as a minister. In the fall of 1962, Perman was called by concert promote to rescue a staggered tour features the Everly Brothers, Bo Diddley, and the Rolling Stones. Now, the Rolling Stones came in the first British invasion with the Beatles. That's back in '62. There is a second I'm gonna go back. There's a second invasion back in '64. You got the Animals, the Kinks, and stuff like that. I need to throw that in. Okay. Perryman agreed to help to save tour from flopping. At the end of that tour, Perryman was given his own television special for Granda Television titled Little Richard Spectacular. The special became a rating hit, and after 60,000 fan letters was rebroadcast twice. In 1964, not opening re-embraced rock and roll, Perman released Bama Lama Low on Specialty Records. Due to his UK exposure, the song reached on the top 20 there, but only climbed to number 82 in his native country. Wow. Later that year, he signed to VJ Records. Then, on his dying days, released his comeback album, Little Richard is Back, due to arrival at the Beatles and other British bands, as well as the rise of soul labels such as Motown and Stax Records, and the popularity of James Brown. Permanent new release was not promoted or well received by radio stations. But in November 1964, Jimi Hendrix joined Permanent Upsetters band as a full member. In the spring of 1965, Permanent took Hendrix and Billy Preston to a New York studio where they recorded the Don Cobra soul ballad, I don't know what you got, but it got me, which became a number 12 R&B hit. Hendrix and Perman clashed over the spotlight. Hendrix tardiness, wardrobe, and Hendrix stage antics. Hendrix also complained over not being popular paid by Perman. In July 1965, in July 1965, Richard's brother Charles fired Jimmy. However, Jimmy wrote to his father, Al Hendrix, then that he quit Perman over money problems. He was owed $50. Hendrix then rejoined the Isley Brothers band, the IB Specials. Perman later signed with Modern Records, released a modern chart, Do You Feel It, before leaving to OK Records in early 1966. Two poorly produced albums were released over time. First, a live album cut by the Domino in Atlanta, Georgia. OK paired Perman with his old friend Larry Williams, who produced two albums by Perman, including the studio release, The Explosion, Little Richard, which produced modest charts, Poor Dog, and Commandments of Love. His second OK album, Little Richard Greatest Hits, recorded live, returned him to the album charts. In 1967, Perman signed with Brunswick Records after clashing with the label over musical direction. He left the label the following year. And they show a picture. of him in 1967. Perman felt that producer on his label worked not promoting his record during this period. Later, he claimed that they kept trying to push him to record similar to Motown and felt what wasn't treated appropriately respect. Perman often performed digging clubs and lounges with little support from his label. While Perman managed to perform a huge venture overseas, such as in England and France, in the U.S., Perman had to perform in a chilling circuit. Perman's flamboyant look, while a hit during 1950, failed to help his label to promote him more conservative black record buyers. Perman later claimed that his decision to backslide from his ministry led religious clergymen to protest his new recordings. Making matters worse, Perman said It was his insistent on performing in front of integrate audience at the time of the Black Liberation Movement shortly after the Watts riots and the formation of the Black Panthers, which caused many black radio disc jockeys in certain areas in the country, including Los Angeles, to choose not to play his music. Now acting as his manager, Larry Williams convinced Perman to focus on his live shows. In 1968, he had dished upsetters for his new backup band, the Crown Jewels, performing on a Canadian TV show, Where Is It At? Perman also featured the Monkees TV special, 33% Revolution per Monkey, in April 1969. Williams booked Perman shows in Las Vegas casinos and resorts, leading Perman to adopt a white, flamboyant, and androgynous look, inspired by the success of his former backing guitarist Jimi Hendrix. You know Jimi Hendrix went on to start. So, and also the Ozzy Brothers did they know Jimi Hendrix purse. I just want to put it like that. Back in '64. They throw that in. Let's go. Perman was soon booked at a rock festival such as Atlantic City Pop Festival, where he stole the show from headline Janis Joplin. Now I'm gonna make a note of this. Now, I don't know if people remember this. Tell Mama, that was the late great Etta James. She made that first. That's back in '67. Janis Joplin, she was a pop rock singer, but she always sang. She had that soul in her, and I think she died of overdose 1970. But she sang "Tell Mama," and she did the long version. It's hot. It's hot. I give it that. It's hot. Let's go. Perman produced a similar show, Steeler, at Toronto Pop Festival with John Lennon as a headline. They said, "Who's John Lennon?" He's one of the head singers, head songwriter, and part of the Beatles. As a baseline, these successors brought Little Richard to talk shows such as Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and The Dick Cavett Show, make him a major celebrity again. Responding to his reputation as a successful concert performer, Reprise Records signed Perman in 1970, and he released the album The Thrill Thing. The Thrill Thing, which is a philosophical single, Freedom Blues, become his biggest charting single in years. In May 1970, Perman made a cover of Rolling Stone magazine despite the success of Freedom Blues. None of Perman's other Reprise singles charted, with the exception of Greenwood, Mississippi, a swamp rock original by guitarist hero Travis Warnemack, with a cyclical play on the track. It started only briefly on the Billboard Top 100 and Cashbox Pop chart, also on the Billboard Country charts, made strong showing of WWRL in New York. Before disappearing, Bill Perman became a featured guest instrumentalist and vocal on recording by acts as Delaney and Bonnie, Joey Covington, and Joe Walsh. It was prominently featured on Carmel Cannon Heat 1972 hit single "Rockin' with the King." To keep up with his finance and booking, Perman and three of his brothers formed a management company, Bud Ho Incorporated. In 1972, Perman had entered the rock and roll revival circuit, and that year he co-headed the London Rock and Roll Show at Wilmington Stadium was his musical peer Chuck Berry. When he come on stage, he announced himself the king of rock and roll. Philly also the title of his 1971 album, reprised and told the packed audience there, let it all hang out. Perman, however, was booed during the show where he climbed on the top of pianos and stopped singing. He also seemed ignored as a crowd. By making matters, he showed just five musicians to struggle through low lighting, bad microphones. Where the concert films documentary shows the show came out, his performance was considered generally strong. Though his fans noticed a drop in energy and vocal artistry. Two songs was he performed did not make the final cut on the film. Following year, he recorded a chart soul ballad, In the Middle of the Night, released with proceeding donate to the victims of tornadoes that led causing damages in 12 states. In 1976, Perman re-recorded 18 of his classic rock and roll hits in Nashville for K-Tech Records. In high-tech stereo recreation with single live versions, Good Golly, Miss Molly, and Rip It Up, reaching the U.S. single charts. In 1973, Perman performed to begin to suffer his voice problems and quietly marathon render of songs. Perman later admitted that he was heavily addicted to drugs and alcohol at the time. By 1977, he won out for years of abuse and while partying, as well as a string of personal tragedies. Perman quit rock and roll again and returned to evangelist and released a gospel album, God, Beautiful City, in 1979. I'm just gonna paraphrase that because I know I got your right here. So let's go paraphrase here. Let me see. Comeback. He filed 112 million dollar lawsuit against Specialty Records publishing company Venice Music and AT Music for not playing his royalties through the label 1959. And this was going on. They was ripping off our artists at that time. So that was a lot was going on. And it goes shows that according to reports, Michael Jackson allegedly gave him monetary compensation for his work when he co-owned Sonny, songs by the Beatles and Perman. In 1985, Charles White released a single autobiography, Queen of Rock, The Life and Times of Little Richard, which returned Perman to his spotlight. Perman returned to show business in what Rolling Stone could refer to a formidable comeback following the book release. Reconciliation of his role as evangelist and rock and roll musician for the first time. Perman states that the genre could be used for good or evil. After 7 roll of the film Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Perman and Billy Preston penned faith-based rock and roll great Gosh Almighty from his soundtrack. He got critically acclaimed his film role, and the song found success in American and British charts. The hit led to release the album Lifetime Friend 1986 on Warner Bros. Records with songs, theme, message, and rhythm, including a gospel rap track. All right, talked about a version of Great God Almighty, cut in England. The album featured 2 singles. In the UK, Somebody Coming and Operator. He spent the rest of the decade as a guest on television shows, appearing in films, winning new fans was referring of his unique timing. I'm paraphrasing, fam, because I know it's a lot. All right, 89, he provided rhythmic preaching and background vocals. extended version of by YouTube BB King hit When the Love Comes in Town. When Love Comes in Town. Same year, Perriman returned to sing this classic by his final performance at Lucille and AIDS benefit concert. By 1990, contributed a spoken word rap on Living Color, his single Elvis is Dead from the album Time Is Up. Same year he appeared, excuse me, same year he appeared to the cameo Cinderella Shout to Me. The following year he was one of the featured performers on the hit and video Voices That Care, which produced to help boost the morale of U.S. troops involved in Operation Desert Storm. He also recorded a rock and roll version of the Is Busy Spider. That year, he led a deal with Disney Records, result in the release of the hit children album, Shake It All About. By 1994, the song went award-winning PB Kids and TLC animated television series The Magic School Bus. He wrote different books. That's all I'm doing. He also opened WrestleMania for Madison Square Garden on March that year, mimicking rework of edition of America is Beautiful. Throughout 1990s, Perriman performed around the world, appeared on TV films and tracked other artists. John Bon Jovi, that's a rock group, Elton John, the legend, and Solomon Burke's R&B legend, too. In 1992, released his final Little Richard Meets Masco Tarasi, including members of Richard Thing current touring band. Later years, 2000, 2020, he won a FERCA earliest years. He got back to religion and returned to secular music. He got an NAACP award nominated for his performances role in 2002. Perriman contributed to Johnny Cash tribute album, Kindness Spirit, tribute to the song of Johnny Cash. All right, 2004, 2005, he released 2 sets unreleased rare cuts from IK label 1966, 67, and his reprised label 1970 to 1972, including the full Southern Child album produced and composed mostly by Richard, scheduled for the release in 1972, but shelved in 1970s. In 2006, Little Richard was featured by a popular advertisement of Greco Band. In 2005, recorded his duet with Jerry Lee Lewis on a cover with the Beatles. Also, Standing There, which included on Lewis' 2006 album Last Man Standing. Same year, Perriman was a guest judge on a series Celebrity Duets. Perriman and Lewis performed John Faggy at the 2008 Grammy Awards. In tribute, 2 artists considered by Rosa Naris. Same year, Perriman appeared host Don Imus benefit album for sick children, the Imus Ranch Records. 2010, he recorded gospel singer upcoming album with legend Dottie Rainbow. 2009 was inducted to the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame, a concert of New Orleans attended by Fats Domino. Throughout his decade of New Millennium, Perriman, he set a strange tour schedule performing in the United States and Europe. However, said nerve pain in his left leg and then replaced the involved hip began affecting the frequency of his performance. By 2010, despite his health problems, Perriman continued to perform a receptive audience and critics. Rolling Stone report that at that performance at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C. June 2012, he said he was still full of fire. Master Showman voice still loaded with deep gospel and raunchy power. Right, Perman performed on a 90-minute show of the Pentecostal Interstate for Pensacola, Florida. All right, 2012, at the age 79, headline of New Orleans and Las Vegas doing Viva Las Vegas Rockaboo Weekend in March 2012. In 2012, Rolling Stone published an interview with Perman, who admitted that he will be re-entering from performing. I am done, in a sense, because I don't feel like doing anything right now. I told in the magazine, adding, I think my legacy should be that when I started in show business, there wasn't no such thing as rock and roll. When I started with Tutti Frutti, that's when rock really start rocking. That is true. Right. In 2014, Brandon McCall received critical acclaim to his portrait appealing to the James Brown biography drama Get On. Mick Jagger co-produced the motion picture. 2015, Perman appeared paying audience class spoken boots, bright colored jacket at the Will Horse Saloon, CashApp Rhythm Hall of Fame. 2016, Nice Music of African American issue of press release indicates Perman was one of the key artists and music industry leaders that attend this third annual celebration of Legends Luncheon in Nashville, honoring Shirley Caesar, Kenny Gamble, and Leon Huff. Now, Shirley Caesar, she's a long time. She's a gospel giant. Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, they started. They always been part of Philadelphia Records, Sounds of Philadelphia, but they formed Mermaid. No, Kenny Gamble, he had his own label with Leon Huff. Well, I explained that another time. I explained that, because I know it's getting late, and I want y'all to chime in, okay? Trying to help. 2006, a new release on Hitman Records California Upcoming was released with previous unreleased material in the 1970s, including a Capella version of the 1985 release, Trying to Help Your Brother. On September 2017, Perman participated in a long television interview for Christian 3 Angel Broadcasting, clean shave without makeup, and dressed in a blue parsley coat and tie, in a wheelchair, and discussed lifelong Christian faith. Perman addressed audience to receive Distinguished Artist Award in the 2019 Tennessee Governor's Art Reward as the governor resides in Nashville, Tennessee. Around 1956, Perman became involved with Audrey Robinson, a 16-year-old college student originally from Savannah, Georgia. Perman and Robinson quickly got acquainted despite Robinson not being a fan of rock and roll. Perman claimed in his 1981 biography he invited other men to have sexual encounters with her in groups, and claimed to have once invited Buddy Holly to have sex with her. Robinson denied those claims. Perman proposed marriage to Robinson shortly after he converted to Christianity, but Robinson refused. Robinson later became known under the name of Lee Angel and became a stripper and socialite. Perman reconnected Robinson in the 1960s, though she left him again after a drug abuse worsened. Robinson interviewed to Perman in 1985 on a Soul Bank show that then denies Perman claims was back and forth. Perman met his only wife, Ernestine Howard, and an evangelist rally in October 1957. Then they began dating that year, wedding on July 12, 1959. I'm skipping some parts, fam. I'm skipping. There's a lot. California, Harvard was president. Okay. All right. And he had a son too. So during the marriage, Perman Howard adopted a 1-year-old boy named Danny Jones from the Lake Church Association. Perman and his son remained close, and Jones often acted one of his bodyguards. Ernestine later married McDonald Campbell in Santa Barbara, California, March 23, 1989. Okay. Perman said he played just girls as a child, but subject to homosexual jokes and ridiculed because his name was Walk and Talk. His father brutally punished him wherever he caught him wearing his mother's makeup and clothing that he had been sexually involved with both sexes as a teenager because his affirmative mannerisms. His father kicked him out of their family home at 13. Wow. In 1985, the South Bank show Perman explained, "My daddy put me out of the house. He said he wants seven boys, and I had spoiled it because I was gay." All right. Perman got involved with voyeurism in his early 20s, where a female friend would drive him around and pick up men or allow him to watch them having sex on the backseat of cars. Perman activity caught in the attention of Macon police when he was arrested after a gas station attending report of sexual activity in a car. Perman was occupying with a heterosexual couple. Cited with sexual misconduct charge, spent 3 days in jail, and he was temporarily banned from performing in Macon. Perman became acquainted with openly gay musician Billy Wright, who helped establish Perman and advised him to use pancake makeup. Okay, 2000, Richard told Jet Magazine, I figure if I call a sissy, that makes me famous. I'm just skipping some stuff like this. He got a lot of stuff. Talk about religion, health problems, and death. Okay. Skip all that. On May 2020, Perman died at the age 87 in Tennessee. The cause of death was revealed to be bone cancer. At that time of his death, he was living with his brother in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, that is it. I'm gonna James J. and back to basics. How you doing today? I mean tonight.
Hello, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. I can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear
Okay, good. Yeah, that was long. I was trying to stay in there. Forgive me.
No, I didn't know
That was
because
very long-winded.
yeah, I had to cut some stuff.
It's all good. He had 70 years of a career. I mean, she was long.
Oh, dang, trust me, I cut
Wonderful.
a lot of stuff. I cut a lot of stuff out. Trust me.
I know you did.
Woo. Okay,
that was a
let's
biopic.
just do the ladies. Yeah.
That was a biopic right there.
Okay.
80s. No.
Ooh, James J, you gotta fix your mic or something, bro.
Okay. Let me see. Right here. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey,
Yeah, I can, but I still
that was
I still hear background noise
oh.
from you.
Okay, hold on.
Mute your mic.
All right.
Okay, go ahead back to basics till we come back. What you think about the story? Hello. Oh, she got back down. Okay.
I turned it down. Can you hear me?
Okay. Y'all get you now. Okay. What you think about him?
Little Richard. I remember he did one of
Yeah.
the WrestleMania. I think I remember he did one of the
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was a biopic. That was a biopic. That was like
Mm-hmm.
a like a like a book in actuality. Because
Yeah.
Little Richard.
Hello. Okay, I had to come back because I don't
Yes.
know what was going on with my sound.
Okay.
I watched Martin watched Martin early this morning had him on Little Richard. Had him so
Oh, okay.
it was a shocker he passed away, but he lived a long life. We've been losing a whole lot of superstars, old school superstars. Millie Small, where he did my boy Lollipop. I don't know if you know that or not. Millie
Mm-hmm.
Small with Bill Withers and others. Richard,
Mm-hmm.
he lived a long.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna do the other video you did. You gonna do that later on. I know what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about. So
Okay.
Lil Richard had a big uh big interest. You know what I'm saying, with Tutti Frutti and all that other stuff. And I don't know if he started the LGBT or not, but I don't know if he did that. But
Nah, we ain't gonna get into that. No. We're not gonna
yeah,
get into that. Mm-mm.
yeah, we ain't gonna get into that. We gonna talk about his.
No, we're gonna stay. We gotta stick to the top. We gotta stick to the topic. But he was ahead of his time about his sexuality. I can tell you, he wasn't afraid. So when he was married, him and his wife adopted a son. So they never say that either. They never say that. Yo, mute your mic, James J, because you sound noisy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mute
Okay.
your mic. All right. All right, back to basics.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to stick with it. I noticed there was a lot of history there. I know I heard what was it? What was he inducted in? I know 1986 he was inducted into something. I was trying to stay with it. That was very long. That was a lot of information.
He was
So I
Dr.
kind of got lost.
I
I know,
think he
what
was
was it? The
Dr.
Rock and Roll Hall of
Songwriter.
Fame?
He was
Oh, go
Songwriter
ahead.
Hall of Fame, Musician Hall of Fame. I believe he was on, and then he goes on Louisiana Hall of Fame, Tennessee Hall of Fame. He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They didn't say, that's what I'm saying. I had to skip a lot of stuff.
Okay. But yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know. I mean, it went into his childhood and everything, but yeah, it was just so much. um,
Yeah, and he was an excellent writer. A lot of people don't understand. He wrote hits.
yeah, and I noticed that
So
during his time period, so many great artists, were around. I know I heard, of course, the Beatles. They had their time, and what was it, James Brown, and he also
yeah.
he also wrote for what was it, Ray Charles too?
No, I'm saying that Quincy Jones was I'm saying Quincy Jones was working with him.
Okay.
What happened was that the people say, oh, no. What happened was I was saying that a lot of people don't know Quincy Jones. I said, but Quincy Jones, that he did Ironside, but I just throw my little thing in it that I know about Quincy Jones, so people can connect. That's all. I know a little something.
Oh, okay. Because I was trying to stick to it, and then okay, all right then. But that was, yeah. Like, what article was that? Were you reading from? Like, what was the source of that?
Let me see. I just Googled it.
Yeah, but that like what website did it come up on?
No website.
What did you Google?
I just Google Little Richard, and it pop up, and then you go like a.
Hold on.
You go down.
Yeah. But again, it would have been nice. Like, was there an article or here? Let me see.
I go to Google and I hit like Little Richard. After I hit Little Richard, all right, and they go talk about music Little Richard died, and I go down. I scroll up. Then it's to talk about when
Okay, I see the sources here. I might try to find whatever one you was reading out of, because I don't know. Again, I'm on Google right now, but I don't know exactly what website you kicked on. One of the first websites that popped up was
no, just
rollingstone.com.
because no. You just gotta type in Little Richard. Where the little circle, where Google at, when the little the long circle.
Yeah,
I
I did.
type in
But that's the website that
okay.
came up. I don't know what you're reading from. I don't know if you're reading from NPR. Like I said, I'm on Google right now. I typed in Little Richard, but I don't know what article, like what website you went to, like what you just read. I don't know where that is, but it's all good.
Okay, hold on.
It's all good.
Hold on. It's Little Richard Wikipedia.
Oh, okay, so you were reading from Wikipedia. Okay, that's all I need to know. I just wanted to ask, like,
Wikipedia.
what was the
Yeah.
source? That's all. We good.
Yeah. Wikipedia is usually accurate, so
Okay.
I don't use the other magazine because they don't I use Wikipedia. They accurate. That's where I get it from. And like I said, I put my own little thing because like I said, I know about Little Richard. I know Little Richard. So, but he wrote. Think about it, y'all. He wrote like 15 top 40 hits in 3 years in the 50s, and that's unheard of in the 50s.
Yeah, he was really grinding hard then if he was writing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he was fighting. Then he was debating a secular music and gospel. But he passed away May 9th. But he died. He was 87. He was living with his brother. When he passed, he lived with his brother in Nashville, Tennessee. So the thing about yeah, that's all. And then oh yeah, family. There is another underrated music talk. Got be back 10 o'clock. So I want y'all to pay attention to that. And if you want to know about music, go to Underrated. Come to me. Cause I know some stuff. All right. So all right, James J, you can come back in, say a little thing, and make your last remarks. And back to basics. You make your last remarks too.
Well, salute. You should check me out, man. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the I made this. I made that brother is something else, man. I just salute the little and rest in peace to others that we legends that we used to listen to. If we ignore it, but we listen to it anyway, we did. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace. And man, may God bless him. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Miss Shalon. All right.
Okay. Thank you. All right, you can mute your mic. Back to basics, say what you have to say, and last remarks.
I just want to say, rest in peace to little Richard. My heart and prayers go out to his family and his close friends.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay.
And come back at what time is it again? Is it 9 Eastern
10
Standard?
o'clock.
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna do another one.
Okay.
That's gonna be a surprise, and I expect, and I know it's gotta go. It's going to be some people gonna have to get on a panel on that tonight.
All right, sounds great. Y'all heard the man. Come on back here at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard, which would be 9 p.m. Central Standard and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to close this out. On behalf of my channel, peace to y'all. I'll be doing another underrated music talk show. Underrated music talk. Come back at 10 o'clock. I got something special. And I'm doing another legend that also passed away. And this is more, and this is, I can't even say it, but this is something that, let's come back tonight, and it's also gonna be panel discussion. Okay. Also, on behalf of my channel, thanks for joining. Everybody that came, thank you very much. And this one goes 10 o'clock, same channel, Underrated Music Talk. See y'all then. Get host.